This is Lama Tantrapa. Welcome to the Secrets of Qigong Masters, the talk show brought to you by Academy of Qidao, the first and only school in the world offering professional education in Tai Chi and Qigong coaching. To find out about the programs offered by Academy of Qidao and to learn how you too can become a certified Qigong or Tai Chi coach, please visit qigongcoaching.com. This show is also brought to you by Mastery Magazine, sponsoring the Summits of Qigong Masters, bringing to you some of the top experts in Qigong and Tai Chi in North America. To enjoy watching the featured episodes, please go to qigongmasters.com. Today, I'm delighted to introduce to you Robert Peng, the founder of Robert Peng's Qigong. He began his Qigong apprenticeship with a legendary monk, Xiao Yao, when he was a boy. As a part of his training, he did a 100-day water fast in a dark underground chamber. From this experience, he developed extraordinary spiritual powers and healing abilities. He teaches in lectures all over the world, with the essence of Robert's teachings reflected in the Master Key, Qigong Secrets for Vitality, Love, and Wisdom, a series of DVDs, books, CDs, and now online courses. Thank you for joining us today, Robert. It's a pleasure to have you on our show.
It's such a pleasure and honor to be on your show, Lapa. We met many years ago, I think. Yeah. Of course, I've heard about you all the time. And finally, we meet again through the line. How wonderful for the new technology, right?
Absolutely. New technology makes a huge difference in the lives of people around the world, including Tai Chi and Qigong masters. So this is fantastic. I would love to start our interview today by diving a little bit into your background. I know that you have an amazing story to tell about your involvement with Qigong, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got started and also about your apprenticeship to the monk that you studied with.
So I started my Qigong practice when I was 8 years old. Well, someone asked me, is it from your family? Does your parents practice this? Not really from my lineage. When I was 8 years old, I was very sick. Very severe chest pain. The pain was so strong that if I run or I jump from high place, the pain can make me just pass out. So the doctor made the restrictions one after another. In the end, they said, well, maybe your son need to have a break from the school. So I quit the school, supposedly for half a year to recover, but it's so boring to be inside home alone. Because all the other fellows, they went to school, went to kindergarten, and the adults went to work. So I was alone. It's so different from the other time when everybody's there. So after the second day, I snuck out from the home and began to explore outside. So I got wild strawberries. I watched more than 40 kind of ants. Yeah. When I explore more further, there's a resort hotel. That resort hotel used to be a reception for hosting the engineers from the Soviet Union to help build my factories. Yeah, my hometown is a factory, iron and steel plant. We have 20,000 workers and altogether about 100,000 people living there. It's like a city. So after the Soviet Union engineers left, so that place is like a resort hotel receiving VIPs. And of course, with walls. In China, we like to have walls. Yeah, the gates. The doorkeeper was an old man, very unfriendly, always screaming at us. Because sometimes we just play around there. Sometimes we climb over the wall and jump into it. But before, it's always with other fellows. This was my first time myself. I climbed over the wall, jump into it. It's very painful. I couldn't care. Because inside, it's much, much better. Because it's like, it's like a garden. They have fruit trees, grape trees, swimming pool. Then at the corner, there's a red bricks building with all the pipes. That is a boiler room. So I went there, peeping through the door. Then I saw a middle-aged man was shoveling in the coal. And this was my master. His name is Xiao Yao. At that time, he was called Mr. Tan. Because nobody knew. He's a senior monk with extraordinary, amazing healing power and very powerful martial artist power. But at that time, he was just like a nice man. And people know that this is a boiler room attendant, Mr. Tan, very friendly. So he's like a hermit. So I went there, and he saw me. He said, "Oh, you want to watch the fire?" I said, "Yes, yes. I like to watch the fire. Through the window, the fan blows. I can watch there for hours." So I watched there, a little bit chatting. So afterwards, he said, "Well, feel free to come again anytime." I said, "Really?" So I visited him again and again. Well, later, when we are very familiar, I joked with him. I said, "Well, when you say visit me again, you're just being polite, right? You know I really make it." So he was laughing. He was laughing. Yeah. Anyway, so we made friends. And then one day, actually, I think it's about 1 or 2 weeks later, because I remember when he asked me why I didn't go to school, I said, "I get sick. Yeah, I have chest pain." He looked at me for quite a few minutes, very closely, without any words. Of course, now I know. Later I know. He was doing the healing. The first time he saw me, he called it 神光, like the spiritual light through the third eye, scanning me, and he's doing the healing without telling me. So about a month later, I was recovered without knowing why. Because, when you get sick, you forget. Then one day my mother said, "Oh, how's the pain?" I said, "What? I couldn't feel anything." From nowhere, one day I was visiting him, he said, "Do you like wushu?" Wushu in Chinese means martial art. "Do you like wushu?" I said, "Yes, yes."
What most people think is called kung fu.
Yeah, Kung Fu. Yeah, you do Kung Fu, so Kung Fu originally doesn't mean martial art. Kung Fu means a certain period of time you dedicate it. You can say, it took me 2 hours of Kung Fu to write this article. It took me 10 years of Kung Fu to master this Tai Chi, right? So it means dedicated. Well, because martial art needs dedication, so afterwards they call it Kung Fu. In Mandarin, we say Gong Fu. Kung Fu, I think, is more Cantonese way or Hong Kong way. They call it Kung Fu. So in China, if you say Kung Fu, most people will say, "What did you say?" Yeah. Of course, when you say Kung Fu, they do know it means.
They'll think that you're talking about Confucius.
Yeah, Confucius, Kongzi. My master is more Buddhism, but they have influence of Taoism too. In China, it's very interesting. It's quite mixed. Even the Buddhist monks, they practice a lot of things. Then you notice that they practice a Taoist practice. In Buddhism, originally they don't talk about Dan Tian, elixir field. That is from Taoist. But if you look at it, a lot of Buddhist monks, they practice pearls, Dan.
Right. As a matter of fact, one of the birthplaces of Wushu, Shaolin Monastery, has the whole system of exercises which are very similar to the Taoist Qigong.
That's understandable because it's in China. So when you stay in China, you mix a lot of time, and then of course you always like mixing with the cultures and everything there without even knowing why, right? Like now my diet, because I've been in America 13 years, in Australia for 7 years. So I was overseas for 20 years. Now when I go back to China, I find my diet is different from there. So I mixed, no English, no American, no Chinese. Quite mixed up diet.
Right, right. That's why I joke about my language. I say I don't really speak any language without any accent, because when I speak English, I speak with an accent. I speak Russian, I speak with an accent. Whatever language I try to speak, I speak with an accent. Try to speak Japanese, that's going to be definitely a big accent. So it's a result of living in the melting pot kind of culture. And New York definitely is a melting pot.
Fascinated
like
me when I first visited at 2001. I was invited by one of the patients to here. Then within about 11 days, I met people from 21 countries, and everybody talking with me with English, with very strong accent, but with 100% confidence.
Well,
That's
you live in New York.
That's New York. So that's very fascinating. I love New York. Yeah, after so many years, I feel that is a good place to really live and work. You meet people from all around the world.
So you moved from China to Australia first.
I've been with my master for the first 7, 8 years, almost every single day together. Then when cultural, because that was cultural revolution at that time, it's banned a lot of things. So we are practicing on the ground. So after the cultural revolution, he returned to the monastery. Then I visited him twice a year or once a year until he passed away. Actually, he chose to die at 85. I shift from martial art to healing art after actually a very big street fight. Then I find I don't like fighting. So my master says, well, from the energy I teach you all these years in my practice martial art, you can convert it as healing energy. So in order to purify my energy, he put me on a water fast for 100 days, just water in the dark chamber at the basement of the temple. That is when he returned to the monastery. It's very deep in the mountain. Then afterwards, he said,
Which monastery was that?
It's in Shaanxi. It's in the west of Hunan province, the mountain area. There's a place called Zhangjiajie. I don't know what it is. It's so beautiful, picturesque. So that's where it is. I have to take 8 hours train, then 2 hours bus, then I have to hike 5 hours. That's how I can get there. And well, it's a beautiful place, beautiful place. So it's after that retreat, because it's like a few lives experience. In our experience, we have pain, we have coldness, we have itchiness, we have emotions, anger, or everything in a normal life. In that meditation, you experience 2,000% of the intensity. Yeah. And after you go over it, then it gives you a good reward of nirvana. Like say, the hardest one for me is itchiness, because I feel like millions of ants are biting you. I think maybe my bones have been gone. But if I open my eyes, then that's fine. But then when you're in that state again, it still comes until you say, I surrender, I just gave up, no more. Yeah, I die with this. Then afterwards, for a long period of time, that is like nothing happens. Then you begin to feel every pores of the skin is like ecstasy. That is the time you don't want to leave that state. Then it lingers for a long time. Then you get back. So that is past. Then you do it again, nothing happens. Yeah. So all this experience, pain, anger, anxiety, itchiness, cold, all goes one after another. So after this, the energy is so purified, and I feel the energy just goes through my readings. I can pass it to the other people. They feel like electricity. Among my community, my fellows, they give it a nickname. They call it zapping. So do you zap me? The Prime Minister of Australia. Actually, we have a video clip on YouTube. I transform the qi through him. Then he's putting the qi to his wife. His wife is woo. Then I like his word. He say, I'm a zapper. Anyway, so that's a brief story how I practiced with my masters. Long story. I put it in my book. And actually, I just finished my audiobook called 100 Days of Light and Darkness. And it's going to publish soon, maybe in about several weeks. I finished recording of them. I narrated myself, all the stories. So yeah, let's come to the story of Australia. When I was in China, before I went to teach publicly, I have another job. Yeah, I majored in English in the university. Then I was asked to teach English in the university for 6 years. Well, actually, that English teaching experience helped me now. First, it's easier. And second, because when I was teaching English, all my students are science students. They're not English majors. But we are asked to teach them, the whole class, speaking English with them. Technology students, they're not so good at listening comprehensions. So I had to say it very briefly so they can understand me. That gave me, trained me a good habit when I was teaching Qigong now. Qigong theories, it's very mysterious and all these concepts. Then I find I make it easier for an amateur, a layman, to understand. So thanks to the experience. And also during my teaching in the university, in my spare time, I teach my college students Qigong. Then I find inside the campus there's a lot of restrictions. Lama, you do hot Qigong, right? Sometimes we do demonstrations, the beer bottles, the spears, and we lie on the nail bed, all this kind of striking things. The young boys, they like it because the college students.
Yeah, they can show off to the girls.
Our president of the university came, and he's trying to stop us because he said, I cannot allow you to, I cannot put up with any danger in my campus. I'm responsible. That made me realize that it is not easy to teach Qigong inside the campus. Well, at that time, it's my spare time. We didn't charge anything then. With another colleague, I said, wait, maybe we should leave school. We quit the job. Then we went to Hainan Island. At that time, we call it special economic zone. In China, a lot of policy are very restricted. Then they begin to have Shenzhen and several places to make it a special to give more open policy. So we went there. So I began to teach. We moved in 1992. So in 5 years, I trained more than 150,000 students just from that island and surrounding area.
Hainan is like a hotbed of Qigong in China.
For me, yes. For me, yes. Because it's the southernmost of China. It used to be an area of Canton province. And then Deng Xiaoping said, oh, this province is because it's isolated. It's just a little bit smaller than Taiwan. It's a big place. So as we make it as a province, then we have an open door policy. So a lot of restrictions inland are not here. That's why we are motivated to go there because it's much more open. And then there's a center called CHIRT, China Hainan Institute of Reform and Development. Actually, it's a think tank of central government. So they run every month several seminars, conferences, inviting all the scholars, international scholars, and the government officials to give lectures. Then they have memorandum, then they collect it and send to the central committee for them to make new policies. So it's a very high level place. I was invited to do demonstrations with other of my students doing demonstrations for the show there. And of course, then we made a special VIP room to do the treatment. That's how I met the Prime Minister of Australia, because he went there to attend the conference. Then he was accompanied by the governor, Ran, and the governor is my friend. He said, well, Prime Minister, he got some back pains from golf. Are you happy to help? I said, well, sure. So we did the treatment. And he was amazed because he's never had this experience. He said, I am a convert. Yeah, you should do this. And then later he said, can you help my daughter? I said, what's happening to your daughter? I said, well, I have 3 children. The eldest was Sue. She had chronic fatigue syndrome. I've never heard about chronic fatigue syndrome at that time. But from his description, he said, it's after her first birth to her daughter, she lost a lot of blood, and she was very weak. In wintertime, she could hardly get up. So for 3 months, like she has to lie in bed. It's very, very weak. So I said, well, we can have a try. Then the second year, that's in 1994, in March, then he flew her to Hainan. So I teach her Qigong. We did the treatment, and in 1 month, she was totally recovered. So when she went home, her friends couldn't recognize her. She looks like 10 years younger. So, of course, he's Prime Minister's daughter, so the Women's Weekly and Sydney Morning Herald, they begin to write stories about her and published thousands of letters. At that time, no emails. Thousands of letters wrote to her, said, well, can we see the master, have a treatment? So, and also the Prime Minister, he's very grateful. He said, well, Robert, if you want to do Qigong in Australia, I will help you, definitely, anything you need. So they invited me to go to Australia. At first, I said, well, I may make a 3-month trial to make something there for me to visit regularly. But after 3 months, I really loved that place. Yeah, loved that place. And people are very friendly. And yeah, I put in the story in my book. The most striking things was when I was having a dinner on the water, actually in the lake. Then the kookaburra, they call it laughing bird, happy, you know, was just not far from me. So I stretched my hand, and that kookaburra landed in my hand. Well, because in China, people like to shoot even sparrows, then we eat them. In China, we eat everything. So the animal, we say, even the sparrow, even the mosquitoes are more clever in China because they know man will kill them. So this wild bird land in my hand actually is a transforming experience for me. Because before, there's huge distinctions between animal and human beings. Although I learned many communication skills with the animals from a master. Yeah, he can talk. Well, not in the way of talking. He can communicate with qi, with monkeys, with lions, make them like a circus shows. And I did a little bit, but have a wild bird landing in my hand. I said, wow, what a wonderful place to share this world with animal and human beings. So it's this little bird made my final decisions to stay in Australia. So I, so I began to apply for the permanent residency. So I stayed in Australia. And literally, just after I got my permanent residency from Australia, I was invited to go to America in 2001. So after a few trips of America, I find New York especially is the center of the world. Actually, it's the center of the universe. So at first I thought I'll trade I travel between Australia and America. But it's a bit challenging, especially at that time, emails, all this kind of communication is not so popular yet. So it's all phone, voicemail. After 3 months, I go back to Australia. Then it takes me about a month to warm up again. Then you're leaving. Practically, it's a bit difficult. So I decided to stay in America.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Me too. Yeah. Well, like Lama and in America, first people are more open, and also it's a much bigger and open-minded community. Yeah. I met, I think we met first time in the National Qigong Association symposium, right? In Boulder, you were there? Yeah, 2005. And, Michael Wayne, Lord Roger Yanker, you mentioned, and many other people. They're very friendly, very helpful, and very open. Yeah. We just help each other. Yeah. So that's why I really appreciate what you have done, because you're not restricted just here. You have the ambition to make this cake grow, to build a bigger community instead of just working on the small community. So that's my mind too. So we have
alignment.
Yeah. The yoga is so popular, and I think Qigong, we can make it as popular as yoga at least, right? And also, I find that from all these years of teaching, I have a lot of students that are yoga teachers too. And they find it's huge, beautiful compensation for yoga. I think the same way the yoga is good compensation for Qigong too. So as long as we're open, we're making this globe much more lively with all different remedies and to help us to build up body, mind, spirit, to make us really holistically grow, up level of ourselves.
Well, and also for people practicing yoga, it's just a relatively easy step to take another step in the direction of Qigong. For people who have not been exposed to anything like yoga or Tai Chi or meditation, for them it may be a large leap. So in a sense, a yoga community is already predisposed to experience Qigong to some extent, almost like yoga is a gateway drug to Qigong, if you will.
That's true. That's true. I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
One of the things that we also do, of course, is focused a little bit more specifically on healing, but healing is not the only aspect of Qigong that there is in there. For example, monks practice Qigong not only for health reasons, but also for reasons of personal and spiritual development.
Right.
What was your exposure to that aspect of energy arts?
Well, for what I learned from my master, well, I have many masters, but when I say my master, it's my master. His name is Xiao Yao, and when he teaches me, he didn't have very strong structures. After I practiced for more than 200 practices with him, then I structured what he has told me, and it's body, mind, and spirit. Yeah, because it's we call it he called it four golden wheels, and the energy is concentrated in the upper dantian inside the head. When it's concentrated, we call it upper dantian, right? This collecting the energies of wisdom, intelligence, the power of guidance. Yeah. So when energy here is strong, it's like you have a good GPS inside your head in your life. So it guides you to go in a good direction. Wherever it's needed, you turn, you go straight. It's guided. Yeah. Energy guidance. Always a spirituality. Then the energy inside the center of the chest, they collect energies of loving and feeling love. So it's like you have a Buddha heart. And you hug everybody, you embrace everybody. And why we hug? This is the extension of middle dantian, loving qi. Our extension of upper dantian is all our senses, eyes, nose, lips, all this. And third eye, actually, my understanding, third eye should be first eye. Third eye is wrong. Yeah. First, from anatomy, from embroidery, when they started, it's from here, then they begin to develop with all these years for your a being to collect all the information. That is the processing center. But we name the third eyes because from reverse back, we have two eyes in the middle of the third eye. Yes, it's first eye actually, to give us a good access of spirituality, analysis, all this wisdoms, intelligence. Yeah. So this like the chi of loving. So when chi is strong, you are like a Buddha. But when it's weak, that Buddha heart becomes like a fragile glass heart, broken easily. Someone they have very weak energy here, they always feel hurt. They feel depressed, fragile.
Or like you experienced as a child, chest pain.
Yeah, physically pain and kind of all that energy is flowing to all the different joints and everything is not enough, so they're not nourished, right? Then the vitality is lower than 10 here. They give us strength of standing up, standing straight to take actions. Yeah, and sexual power also here. So the problem is that we are not harmonized with this. Some are very developed here, then weak here. So you have developed here, you might be very successful with the business, but if here is blocked, you feel sad, depressed. I met a lot of people, millionaire, billionaire, but they're not happy. I developed the chi here, they begin to feel balanced. What if some people are opposite? Yeah, some people is strong, but here is weak. If this person is your neighbor, he can be a very adorable neighbor, but meanwhile, an annoying neighbor, because they're adorable, but they don't have good ways to express their loving. They may knock at your door at midnight, waking you up from deep sleep and telling you very excitedly how to cope with insomnia, right? Well, it's wrong time. You get very pissed because they don't have good access of doing the right things, although they have good wishes. So then my master teaches me another energy channel we call the central meridians, go through top and channeling all the way to the base. We call it Yin, and it goes up to connect the heaven chi and goes down to connect earth chi, grounding earth chi, expansive heaven chi, and also cross all the three dantians, so they're harmonized together. We call this will of harmony, will of love, wisdom, will of love, will of vitality, then will of harmony. That's what we call the four golden wheels. So my book, The Master Key, actually is the four golden wheels of dynamic happiness.
In Sanskrit, wheel is a chakra, and that's what they use to call energy centers in yoga, chakras. But in yoga,
Yes.
there are more energy centers than three dantians.
Right.
Do you ever look into what it is that is similar or dissimilar between Qigong and yoga, and how come there are only three energy centers featured in Qigong practice?
I think it's just different from different paths. You go to the Everest. Yeah, you can go up from Everest from India, and you go from China and from Nepal. So from different aspect, even if it's the same theme, the theme is who am I? Yeah, what is the meaning of my life? This is the summit. This is Everest. But from chakra, you're using three chakras to as a ladder to go to this. So as for Taoism, they call it 炼精化气, yeah, like transform the jing, the essence, into qi. 炼气化神, transform the qi into spirit. 炼神还虚, transform the spirit into void. So that's how Taoism say. And Buddhism, yeah, they call it void. No me, no ego. Yeah, they call it empty. Yeah. So my master actually is clever. He mixed with both Taoism and Buddhism. He called it four golden wheels. Yeah. Wheel of vitality, wheel of love, wheel of wisdom, wheel of harmony, the central meridian. Through harmonizing this, because central meridian is the one that makes us fit in with the universal chi. Yeah, he likes to say, he said, well, everybody is a gold mine, meaning we're born rich. Then, meanwhile, no matter how rich you are, if you don't connect with the universal energy, you get exhausted sooner or later. Yeah. Fortunately, we have the way of connecting with the universal chi. We drink tea. Yeah, we drink. We breathe. We eat. Well, thinking about that, that is the way for us to connect with the universal chi. But that's our inbound ability. Just make us as ordinary persons we are. But if you want to be some person more spiritualized, you cultivate the chi and make the potential part serving us better. You know, the energy we have is like the cells of the brain. Only 5-10% are used. All the others are dying with us. It's a big waste. So practicing Qigong actually is to cultivate what you have. It's not steal from somebody else. It's our heritage, right? Yeah.
Oh, and using more of the resources that you have. Essentially, it's like running the car with the engine that uses all the cylinders. Otherwise, you're sputtering. Your engine is not running on all cylinders, so to speak.
That's right. You need to have a way to connect with the universe. Yeah. And then central meridian is the key. So my master always say, nourish your chi, nourish your chi, nourish chi. At first, I don't know what it means. It's nourish your chi. You should nourish your chi. Before, when I started practicing, he's always, because I was very diligent. Then for some time, he's always shaking his head. You should nourish your chi. Like, how to nourish my chi? Don't ask. And ask me not to ask how to do. I was frustrated for about a month. That, sometimes the Chinese teacher, they push you at the corner to make you struggle. The struggling process is the process to ripen. They call it ripen the melon. Until the melon is ripe, you don't need to pull. You just tick, it drops in your hand. So I struggled for about a month. Then one day he said, I know you're working hard. I know you are trying to figure out what I say, but you should nourish your chi. I know you're working very good, but you should allow the chi to work for you. How to? It's very simple. Always dantian, always aware of your central meridian. So you are connected to the universe with the chi. Then you're always resourceful. When you're lying down, imagine you're like a sponge, soaking in a hot tub, and allow the chi go to every tiny pore of yourself. And tell yourself, I am in chi, chi is in me. Then you don't have to practice. You can practice 24. This is practicing 24 hours a day. You're using the intelligence of the chi. What a good deal, right?
Well, that's exactly how I approach Qigong as well.
Yeah.
Instead of just dedicating an hour or two in the morning or in the evening to doing some Qigong moves or meditation practices. I always consider that the practice should be spread throughout the day. And
That's right.
every step you take is an expression of your awareness, of your mindfulness, of your ability to be in the flow of Qi, and also the ability to flow with the harmony, in harmony with the energy of the universe as an alternative to struggling against the flow. And of course, it's okay to struggle sometimes too if you choose to do that. So instead of feeling like you are struggling for no good reason, you actually may decide, or like a teacher give you basically an ordeal. But if you choose to do it yourself, then you don't feel like you're suffering for no good reason. You're actually doing it for a purpose. And that creates that kind of a cauldron of personal development, alchemical transformation that essentially leads to discovering who you really are.
Yeah.
How do you use Qigong for discovering who you really are?
Well, breathing. Yeah, breathing, meditation. Breathing is a big role. Yeah, that's why in my practice, including the one we're going to talk about, the I Ching Jing, it's the breathing that make you present. We can survive without water for maybe a couple of days, without food for 10 days, or me 100 days with no food. I can survive, but I cannot survive without breathing, maybe just for a couple of hours. Because when I was in the water fast for 100 days, there are about 8 days I was, we call it small death. At that time, the breathing is really slow. Normally we have about 4 breaths a minute. At that time, maybe 2 hours, 1 or 2 breaths. So it looks like a dead body. But actually it's very lingering inside. The internal Qi is working with it. But no matter when, it still need the breathing. So the breathing is make us at the moment. And we have many ways of breathing. And the I Ching Jing I'm teaching, if you search online, especially on YouTube, I Ching Jing, you find, oh my God, there are 20 more versions of I Ching Jing because it's really a popular practice. But if you pay attention to them, you find none of them are talking about how to apply the breathing into the action. That's what is special about my version or my master's version of I Ching Jing.
Tell us a little bit about Yi Jing Jing. So it translates into English as the bone marrow washing and changing the tendons and muscles Qigong. But perhaps you can tell us a little bit about its history and what it's good for.
Yeah, I Ching Jing is called Yi. I Ching. I Ching. I Ching is the change of the book, right? And it's the first word and the third word. The second is been. So it's the word, the classic of changing, I Ching, or changing what? Jing. Jing literally translated is tendon, but it's more than tendon. Actually, it is fascia. The fascia, the cartilage, the sinews, the connective tissues, especially the fascia. So what is fascia? The fascia is the things that make every part connected together. If you stand upside down, why the heart doesn't drop into your mouth? Because the fascia is pulling it, right? So the fascia is like the cables of suspension bridge. And they give you a little bit freedom of move, but not so far away that it drops into your mouth. So that's one of the very, very primitive functions of fascia, meaning connectiveness. They make everything, every piece holding in one.
That's why we call it connective tissue.
Yeah, so it's connective tissue. It is holding the skin and the muscles and bones, cartilage, or tissues, or everything as one piece. Energetically, it's more significant because energetically, also for information, we have the brain to give all the signals. But actually, between organs and organs, they have even instant communication to each other. Someone says, the colon or large intestines, they have a second brain. What does it mean? Yeah, it's because they can communicate each other before they get signals from the brain, because they're close by. Through what? Fascia. So fascia is like the wires of the whole building. If our whole body is like a building and every part is like individual rooms, why we can communicate with each other between rooms? It's because all these cables, right? Wi-Fi cables and telephone numbers, including all these Wi-Fi signals, to make this whole building, actually the whole nation, as one unit. That's how fascia is helping us. I read an article about fascia. There's a doctor. He said maybe there's a missing organ from our understanding. That is fascia. Maybe that is the biggest organ, because they cover the whole body under the skin. It's like in the ancient time we have a citadel, we have a fortress, a city. Then around it is the river surrounding it. So that is the one to surround all over the body to make our body as a one unit, but meanwhile you communicate with others. So yeah, so Qigong is changing the tendon and to improve the energy of the fascia. When we are getting, especially when we're getting older, we think we're moving in one piece. No, actually when you move, then you feel your leg is behind. So we feel clumsy, right? When little, we're so flexible, we jump around, we feel one piece. We're getting older because the fascia is malfunctions, not so strong. So this practice is regenerate them to make us as one piece, Actually, this practice originated from Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma is the princess from India. He's the founder of Zen Buddhism, and he's the Shaolin martial monk. In Shaolin Temple, they're famous for martial art. They fight. They have beautiful shows around the world. They're like the Sun Solar Circus show. The beautiful demonstrations, amazing. But before Bodhidharma went to Shaolin Temple, all the monks, they're not healthy at all. They are sickly monks. Because at that time, there's a very popular school, I don't know how to call it in English, but they think the body is just like a smelly corpse. I don't worry about my body. I just want to have enlightenment. So they don't take care of the body. They suffer. They are disabled, but they are very enlightened. So when Bodhidharma was there, he said, no, you need to have a good container to hold your spirit, right? So you should have a good body. So he began to teach them. The first exercise ever is I Ching Jing. And they practice just a couple of months. Their health, their sense of well-being, actually their spirituality so much improved. Then they begin to develop two groups. One group, they develop more. Then they developed 72 skills. That is 72 germs of Shaolin martial monks. Yeah. And Xi Jinping is the one to start them. And then the other one, there's still more meditation, and that is the Zen Buddhism. So they are actually from one family originated. When it's divided with years and years, there are many versions of that. But the key is to make our qi awareness to reach to the level of more. In Chinese, it's more. When my master was teaching, he said, when you can bring your awareness to the more part, which is actually fascia or jing, yeah, he said, then you can be very easily transforming your body. Then he showed me. He's like, look at me. Look at me. He put his hands here, Rob. Total different face. Because at that moment, he can bring the awareness and then change the structures, everything. In my story in the book, I put one of the other stories about he went to a friend's home. Then there's a 5-year baby's little shirt. And he said, can I borrow it? Then he put his arms. He can even go through it. He wiggles, then he goes all the way. And he buttoned this. So underneath is totally fine, but above is like shrink. Then later I said, well, how did you do this? I said, well, that's how I can reach my awareness to the fascia. Then I can make the fascia more open. Then I can, like, between the joints of the bone, you can pull apart and fold it, right? So you can wrap yourself and put yourself in a suitcase.
Right. That's what we call being a contortionist.
Now, circus shop is, really energy transformations, and so you can change yourself in any different shapes. Of course, when we practice I Ching Jing, that is, we're not so ambitious to reach that part, but for sure, you can feel a lot happier, more grounded, stronger strength. I have tons of testimonials. They say, that, the huge stones in front of the yard, they think they'll never be able to move it. One day, they did it. Yeah, I have a Kung Fu master student. He does Tong Bei Quan, Yi Quan, Tong Bei, yeah, connecting the arm, Tong Bei Quan. And literally just 1 month after he practiced I Ching Jing, then he was doing, pair work with his partner. His partner was like, what happened? What did you do? It's so penetrating, I Ching Jing. So this really enrich high levels what we have done. You can start it without any background, but if you have done anything, that just make you what you have done much more enlightened, much more powerful.
Well, you also have something to test. So if you have done, for example, something that can be measured before, and then you do the Yi Ching for a month or two, and you measure it again, then it's easy to tell whether or not there is any change.
Yeah, for someone they are more serious, they can do their blood test, they can do their eyesight, they can keep the record of how much weight they can do, and in 3 months they can test again. I'm very sure it will be very different. Yeah, because I've done it for all my life. I know how good it is.
So how can our listeners and viewers experience Yi Jing from you?
Well, I used to teach for a week workshop, and of course it's much more demanding. You have to travel. We go to Costa Rica. And it's very expensive. And so a year ago, 2 years ago, I began to say, well, let me put it online. Well, actually, I could have done it many years ago. Someone asked me, but I'm concerned as well because it's very energetic. Well, will I lose the energy part? So when I was making this video, I was enrolling my students, the real student, not just pretending, the real student learning. So I was in the real teaching mode, teaching this, because I want to have the teaching energy there. So even if you cut and paste, all this kind of editing, but every piece is holistic energy of teaching there. So it took us half a year to edit them. Then it's beautiful. It's very powerful energy. Then I find it's still cons and pros. Of course, when you go to a physical place, you have the whole community chi together with me. But for this online course, it's 14 weeks. So in a week, every day, a lot of information. You need another 2 months to digest it. But here, every week, we focus on one meridian, one organs, and we do special breathing and movement to empower you. So it's on the process of learning that, you begin to do the healing and empowerment. So every week, we focus on one thing. Your worry, your sadness, your joy, and associated with one of the organs. And Saturday is the teaching day. Then Sunday to Friday is practicing day. That is about half an hour. So every day you go to the site, then click, that is today's work. You follow me, and you cannot move ahead. You can review, because all the things we have done then is archived. So it's altogether 14 weeks. So every Saturday teaching day, then the first week I introduce different breathing. Then every week we have different themes. Then the 14th week we have a summary and put everything together. So anyone can join, you click, then you register, then every day you just go to your account, then you follow me. So you don't need to go anywhere else. I make my page very simple, no distractions, just follow me. You practice with me every day, 15 minutes movement, 15 minutes breathing. We call it Qi breathing. This is another special breathing I learned from my master. The Qi breathing, Qi means the break of your breathing. It's not really you're holding your breath. It is the breath that between the first one and the second one that break. But after you exhale, you hold your breath. Because that time there's no oxygen inside. All your potential energies are involved in to do the healing and empowerment. So that's the 15 minutes we work. So every day we do this. And so that structure is very powerful. And every now and then I have webinars to answer questions, to get all the in-depth. And also every now and then I have online the group healing. So the energy is very powerful, very powerful. And it's extended, so it's not so much pressure of learning. The learning pressure is much less. It's much more enjoyable. Then I find the energy is very powerful in that.
Do students who participate in this online course receive any individual attention from you?
Not really one-on-one, but we do webinar. So the webinar is the one that can raise questions, we answer, everyone can watch at the same time. Then it's archived. So you can always check it online and to review it.
Well, what would the person learn by the time they graduate from this online course? How would they be able to tell that this really worked for them? Are there any ways to test it?
Well, the way to test, one is, as they said, if they are a really considerable person, they can have some of their physical conditions, their blood pressure, everything to test beforehand, and they can check later, the strength, everything. And for us, we don't really have a test to test you what you can do. Yeah, so it's more by self-consciousness. And what we can do is that you can watch your breathing. You can watch how long you hold the breath. You can test the strength, especially how joyful you are. Because during these 3 months, you might feel a little bit up and down. So at the end of the 3 months, someone asks, am I finished? I have to say, no, it's just the beginning, right? It's the beginning. So after 3 months, you have everything. You can practice with me for another 3 months or 4 months. Just make it go deeper. The repetition give you the chance of awareness. It's like Tao is saying, before enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. Right? After enlightenment, carry water, chopping wood. You look like doing the same thing, but inwardly your awareness is totally transformed. It's different. So it's an internal thing. External things is easy. Yeah, very easy. You raise. How much you can raise? 3 months later, how much you can raise? Yeah. How quick you can run? This is very easy. Yeah, just to put the record, that's done. But internally, only you yourself know how different you are. That's through your own awareness and insightfulness. That is up to every single one's. And that's why I encourage you to do it, repeat. Because the repetition make you think. Carry water, chopping wood is different from 2 years ago, right?
What do you look for, or what do you check? Are there any kind of ways to assess your progress? Because you cannot improve that which you cannot measure. So how do you assess your progress along this path?
Yeah, as I said, the way to assess is for yourself. Do I breathing deeper? Do I feel happier? Is my strength better? Do I have a better digestion? In my master's words, 6 of them. Yeah, he said, practicing Qigong, Yijing, when you do it well, you have 6 no worries. 6 no worries. No worry eating, so you enjoy your food. Even if it's the plainest food, you enjoy it. No worry toilet, no diarrhea, no constipations. No worry sleeping. Yeah, so you don't suffer some insomnia. No worry energy. When you need to stay up the whole night, you can still focus, right? When something urgent happens, you can just focus the energy, go through it. Yeah. And worry sex. Yeah. And burst power. 100 years old, you can still have a baby, right? Then no worry emotions. Yeah, because we have all different emotions. A lot of people are very fluctuate, up and down with emotions, but with the good energy flow, you are emotional free. Not not really free, but you are in control of emotion rather than you are controlled by emotion. So these are the six, we say, you can say six categories or six ways of telling you how much better I am.
And in Buddhism, it also would be referred to as equanimity. So you may experience emotions, but you're not stuck in them. You don't
Yes.
develop attachments to the certain emotions. You don't develop aversions to other emotions. So in other words, you're balanced. You're maintaining more of neutrality. Excellent. And when is your online course going to start?
It's open to register now, so it's going to.
All our viewers need to do is to go to qigongmasters.com/ Robert Peng.
Beautiful.
Literally, we've set up a page dedicated to your teachings. Viewers will be able to also find the link leading directly to the online course on Yi Jing.
So that's the way that you can reach me. Actually, we have a starting day. Yeah. Well, that's another way I learned. It's good to hold the energy, because there's a lot of online courses I know that they're evergreen. You register, then you start your own pace. Then I find in terms of energy, I'm not so satisfied. I want to have a collective energy. We start the same day, and also for this 98 days, 14 weeks, me myself are empowering this community every single day when I'm doing the meditation. So that community chi is very powerful when we start and when we end together. So anyone interested, don't miss the day that we can start. Yeah, and then we can in the same boat. Otherwise, you are on a separate boat. You still have the benefit, but not in the collective energy for now.
Let me ask you my favorite question. What is your secret to being the Qigong master that you are? In other words, you probably have your own unique approach to energy arts that makes you stand out the way that you do. What would you say that might be?
Well, to make it simple, that's the one that my master pressed me, like I introduced, nourish your chi. Yeah. No matter what situation you're in a good, beautiful situation, you're in a stress situation, you're in the transitional part of the business, you are in a divorce, or you lose your family members, whatever situations, be aware of your presence of the chi. That is, first, always be aware of your lower dantian, which is 3.5 fingers below the navel. This is lower dantian. This is also the warehouse of all the chi as a pyramid at the base of the pyramid. So anytime you put your mind in the lower dantian or just tap on there, you build a good structure of the chi storage. Then tell yourself, I am in chi. Chi is in me. I am in chi, chi is in me. Then it means that you're merging together with the universal chi. There's no distinctions. When you distinguish yourself with the chi, then you begin to be lonely with the chi. We are bound. Everything in the universe is made of energy, which is chi. So you want to distinguish yourself with chi, with energy, then you are just ripping yourself off. But the problem is that as human beings, the good side is that we have our consciousness. We are the only animal, at least for now, we are the only animal that we know, we think about our thought. All the other animals, they don't, which is the upside. The downside is because we have thought. Yeah, because we have thought, then we distinguish our energy with the chi. We think chi is chi, we are we. Yeah. So when we are aware of the chi, that chi is in me, I'm in chi, it's merging together. Actually, I am chi. Lower dantian, I'm in Qi, Qi is in me. It's like a confirmation, an affirmation. I'm in Qi, Qi is in me. In Chinese, we say 人在气中，气在人中. I say it again. 人在气中，气在人中. Yeah. I'm in Qi, Qi is me, lower dantian. Then, central meridian. Yeah. So when you're walking, you always have energy connected with heaven Qi and earth Qi. So with these images in mind or this awareness in mind, don't be shy. You are the center of the universe. Because the universe is created by human consciousness, at least for ourselves. So the center of the universe is not somewhere else, 20 million thousand miles away. No, it is here as long as central meridian, as long as you have awareness of I'm in Qi, Qi is in me. Then imagine, anytime you move, the whole universe is moving with you. Yeah. When you are happy, you find the flowers is smiling at you, right? When you are sad, you find it's raining. Right? So all these things are surrounding you instead of you chasing them. That is the key for us. Then you are in I like to say, dynamic happiness. Dynamic, someone says, oh, happiness. No, happiness is not absolute state. It's always moving. Yeah. When you lose your family, like I said, when you lose your job, of course you are sad. Like I said, Buddhism, you can have anger, but you're not lost in anger. You're not lost in your sadness. You are in control of your sadness and anger. Then you are still a wonderful being. So that is the way for us to live fully as a human beings, to really living the full meaning of us to be in this world for this life, maybe another past life or future life. We don't care, but for this life, live it fully and enjoy it.
Well, that's a great way to look at it. I want to thank you so much for sharing a lot of your wisdom and knowledge today.
Thank you, Lava, for invitation. It's such an honor, such a happy experience with you. I hope that we can meet a lot. This way, the other way, we can meet in person again. Have a wonderful tea. I noticed you like tea. Great. Right. Yeah, I love tea. My wife is a tea master.
Ah, yeah, I'm a tea connoisseur, so I have a collection of probably 25 or 30 different types of tea.
Oh, wonderful. We're going to have a wonderful time with tea. Yeah, anytime you come to New York.
I'm drinking tea right now that was a gift from another Qigong master who was visiting just yesterday. She's a medical doctor, but also a Qigong master, Dr. Nadia Hall. She visited with her husband and brought some nice tea. It's like a silver needle white tea. It doesn't look like much, but it has an excellent flavor. I want to thank you once again.
Thank you, Valapa.
Register for Yi Jin Jing course with Master Robert Peng at qigongmasters.com/Robert Peng. And you will find that an exceptionally valuable online course. And if you go through that online course, you'll never be the same. You have listened to another interview on the talk show The Secrets of Qigong Masters, brought to you by Academy of Qidao, the first and only school in the world offering professional education in Tai Chi and Qigong coaching. To find out about the programs offered by Academy of Qidao, or to learn how you too can become a certified Tai Chi or Qigong coach, please visit qigongcoaching.com. This show is also brought to you by Mastery Magazine, sponsoring the Summits of Qigong Masters, bringing to you some of the top experts in Tai Chi and Qigong in North America. Please go to qigongmasters.com to enjoy the featured episodes of our show.